So good evening and thank you so much for joining us. You're watching KSAT's 9 at Night. I'm Stephania Jimenez, and tonight we begin with a close call in the public corruption trial of a former Bexar County constable. Today was day 6 of the Michelle Barrientos Vela case, and for a bit, the judge hearing that case thought about whether to declare a mistrial. As you know, Barrientos Vela is on trial for tampering with evidence. Earlier today, lead investigator Bradley Freeman walked the jury through the list of subpoenas that he issued the then constable in the summer of 2019. And at one point, Freeman said that he believed the ex-constable committed official oppression. And that was the very moment that Judge Belia Mesa hit the pause button because she had to think about whether to even declare a mistrial. Listen.
This is ridiculous. I mean, we were clear about this. We had hearings outside the jury's presence multiple times. She's asking the question about what offense is, and then he bites for it. They knew it. They knew they were going to do this. There's no other explanation. These are not stupid people. They knew exactly what was going on. You were more than fair and more than clear of your admonishments not to talk about anything outside the motion in limine. Clear.
Yeah, Judge Mesa denied the motion for mistrial, but held Freeman in contempt of court. And now Freeman has to attend a hearing at a later date. Now back to Barrientos Vela. The prosecution is almost done presenting its case. Her attorneys have not yet said whether they're going to call their own witnesses to the stand. In other news, take a really good look at these, right? Because they look like candy. They're not. They're actually pills that contain fentanyl, which is 50 times stronger than heroin, and you don't want these things anywhere near your kids. Drug pushers are calling these pills rainbow fentanyl. They started selling them hoping to attract younger customers, and the problem is it's working. Kids think they're taking multicolored Xanax or Adderall, but the pills are actually laced with fentanyl, sometimes in deadly amounts. And now that we know that, local licensed chemical dependency counselor Jody Guerra is telling parents that now's the time to talk to your kids about this and warn them.
Now we have to focus on, addressing kids at a younger age that we never thought we would have to. But the reality is we need to be talking to our kids as soon as possible.
And yeah, it could be an awkward conversation, but Guerra says that it's worth it. Turning now to Uvalde, KSAT 12 is joining more than a dozen other media outlets in filing yet another lawsuit to obtain access to records related to the May 24th massacre inside Robb Elementary. And this latest lawsuit was filed yesterday against the city of Uvalde, the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office, and Uvalde CISD. It follows dozens of requests from KSAT and other organizations to gain access to body camera and surveillance footage, 911 calls, and communications from local leaders, all of which are public records. This is regarding the 19 students and 2 teachers who died that day. You can read more about the lawsuit right now on KSAT.com. In other news now, Crime Stoppers needs your help. It's looking for the man who stabbed 2 teenagers along the Riverwalk. Happened back on July 23rd. Police say that man got into a fight with the teens in the 200 block of East Houston Street. The teens tried walking away, but then the man followed and stabbed them. So if you recognize him, that's a pretty clear picture. Call Crime Stoppers. That number's on your screen. It's 224-STOP. The Texas Department of State Health Services is now reporting the first death of a person infected with monkeypox. So this happened in Harris County. The state is saying that it was an adult who was severely immunocompromised, but this case is being investigated to determine what kind of role monkeypox actually played in that death. Now here in Bexar County, SA Metro Health is reporting 29 cases. That's 2 more than we told you about yesterday. If you want more information about the virus, prevention, and more, you can head on over to KSAT.com. So now on to COVID. The latest booster shot is about to roll out this week, but it is raising some eyebrows. The new shot has been reformulated. It targets the BA4 and BA5 Omicron variants, which are currently the most dominant strains. But here's the catch. The shots that we just told you about, they haven't been tested on humans. To save time, they were tested on mice. The results show that they could offer more than 20 times more protection than the original shots. The Food and Drug Administration is expected to approve the booster today and then roll out doses after Labor Day. So we just told you about COVID and monkeypox, but let's not forget about the flu. According to University Health epidemiologists, flu cases have been down these last 2 years, but that's likely because people were wearing masks and also social distancing during the pandemic. So those germs really didn't get around. But now doctors are seeing influenza cases return to normal in places like Australia. So to stay ahead of the curve, University Health and Bexar County are partnering up to offer free drive-through flu shots next month and also October. Those events are open to anybody 6 months and older. All you got to do is register online. We have those links for you and the full list of dates on KSAT.com. Switching gears now, let's talk about your money and college. Yes, there are some things that you can do to minimize loans and even avoid debt altogether. Roughly 65% of graduates say that they got their degree, but also have a pile of student loan debt to show for it. So how do you cut down on that debt? Well, finance experts say that you should choose a school that's actually affordable for you.
Don't buy into this myth that you need to spend a ton of money that you don't have to go to a fancy school.
Yeah, a lot of schools also offer low cost or even free tuition for students that qualify, and that's why you should research which schools are most generous with financial aid. Also, speaking of financial aid, fill out that form early. We're talking about the FAFSA form. If you don't receive a grant, you can also qualify for work study and apply for scholarships, which you can find on websites like Scholarship Owl. And remember local scholarships too, because those actually tend to be less competitive. Speaking of college, a new master's program at UTSA is preparing students for careers in aerospace engineering. Pretty cool stuff. This fall semester, UTSA is offering a Master of Science degree with hands-on experience in designing aircraft, spacecraft, and a lot more. Students in that program have access to different labs, including the hypersonic lab, where students conduct different tests using a wind tunnel that's capable of simulating airspeeds of up to or 7 times the speed of sound.
Students in this lab wear a bunch of different hats because some days they are doing aerodynamic testing, they're doing math and the hardcore fluid physics, but they're also plumbers, electricians, they're writing code.
Combs says that last year there were 90 jobs that were advertised for aerospace engineers right here in the San Antonio area, but there wasn't a program to address that need, so UTSA is basically stepping in to try and fill that gap. So you once knew it as Liberty Bar, and now that historic building has been transformed into what's now being called a new neighborhood oasis. I've been by it. It is beautiful. The more than 100-year-old building is a new restaurant by the Pearl. Erika Hernandez takes us now inside Cariqui.
Named after the South Texas native green jay, Cariqui is a complete transformation of what was once known as Bowler's Liberty Saloon and more recently, the Liberty Bar.
It has a spirit to it, and it tells the story of all different eras of San Antonio.
Elizabeth Farso, CEO of the company that owns and manages Cariqui, says back in 2014, the building was bought and renovated to fix the bar's famous lean, and also moved the building down a block to the corner of Grayson and Avenue A. In all, it took about 8 years to restore.
We felt like we wanted some more room. We wanted room for a courtyard and a patio and space for people to be able to see the building and to be closer to Pearl.
The building now features an additional rock house built from limestone and a pit area that features special-made crank-down pits.
Well, there might be some parts of this place that are, of course, updated and upgraded, and there's some new features, but there are parts that are still the same, like the original bar that it's over 100 years old.
It's a 130-year-old bar, the original balcony. So we were able to preserve some really important parts of it.
As for the future, there are big plans to make Cariqui a destination spot.
We have this idea that to pay homage to the space and create something that's really going to be loved and cherished by San Antonio, it needs to be one of those institutions that lasts and lasts and is a place that people all over Texas want to come visit.
Cariqui opens on Friday and will be open 7 days a week. Erika Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful place. Even when you drive right by it, it just looks stunning. All right, now we want to help you get ready for the rest of the week. Here's meteorologist Adam Caskey with your forecast.
More rainfall opportunities in our future, but I do think now the odds are best as we get into the weekend. As for your Wednesday, some showers west of San Antonio, especially between about Highway 83 and the Rio Grande. Some showers particularly closer to the border, and that's where we could have some flash flooding. Locally, though, I think just some isolated action popping up, so very limited coverage the next couple of days, about 30% coverage Wednesday and Thursday. But then Friday, we see some better coverage, more scattered in nature and more numerous showers possible as we get on into the holiday weekend, especially on Sunday. And right now it looks like the similar pattern where there could be some numerous downpours setting up, but one neighborhood actually has a little sunshine while another neighborhood, just say a dozen miles away or so, gets a few quick inches of rain. That's going to be the nature of it. Highs this weekend right near 90.
And just like that, we're out of time. Thank you so much for keeping us company. The 9 at 9 returns tomorrow. Stay cool.